seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr bringing topics of all kinds, from cigars to sports, family and more. Everyday stories you'll want to explore. So take a puff or ponder away. Join the talk, it's the highlight of your day. Puff and ponder where the sparks ignite, conversations blazing day or night. Tune in now, let the stories take flight. It's the Puff and Ponder podcast, where we get it right. From fast cars to last night's game, family laughs or today's big name. We've got the topics, we've got the vibe. Stay tuned in and enjoy the ride. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. Kerr, let's get into the cigar we're smoking, and then I got some stuff. I got to share my screen and give away some stuff. So, what are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking an Edition 35 from Stogie Road Cigars.
Right on. I got a couple of cigars from Fratello. I'm smoking the Arlequin, like a 94 rated Connecticut. Great cigar. And then on deck, I got the Fratello Detroit River.
Oh,
so
hold that up. Detroit River? I don't know if I heard of that.
Yeah.
One.
Detroit. It was a like a limited run. They came in like the little cardboard tubes, the same as like his Prohibition series.
Right.
I think he had like 2 left when we did the Ybor City Cigar Heritage Festival, so he just gave them me with that before packing them up. So all right, I got some stuff I got to give away from. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to see my screen being shared, but Cigar Oasis sent us a bunch of stuff to give away. So we had contests going on YouTube, Rumble, and Instagram. So we're going to pick some winners for the Cigar Oasis. So let me share. Where is the share screen? I'm still not used to that new icon. So let's do this one. This one was on Rumble. So we're going to click to spin and see who on Rumble. Cigars with Angel.
Congratulations, Cigars with Angel.
All right. So up next, we are going to, let's see. And it's going to be this one. And this is the other Cigar Oasis on Instagram.
Please wait.
Yep, here we go. Cigar Smoking Gentleman. All right. Just bear with me, folks, here. Up next, let's see. Pick a winner. Is it this one?
Winner.
We got here?
Winner.
All right. Okay. So this is the YouTube for the Cigar Oasis, Chris Peltz.
No, congratulations, Chris.
And then we do have one more. And then, so let me share this one. And the last one we had here was this one. This one was for the Corona Premium Cigar of the Month Club shipment from last month. He's always Julio Fortis. So he's always commenting on my stuff. So thank you, Julio.
Congratulations.
All right. So
by the schoolyard.
Yeah. So yes, make sure you're following Cigar Pop, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube. Go to my website, and then sign up for our newsletter. We're always sending out promotions, and we're always giving stuff away. So and if you go to Cigar Oasis, use the code PropNation. Save some money on the little hygrometers and the desktop or the humidors for your desktop humidors. Oh, all right. We got all that out of the way.
All
So
right.
what's the weather like in South Carolina? Kerr, you guys getting hit with all that nastiness?
Yeah, we did get some freezing rain and some sleet. Kept pushing it out. It's supposed to hit Friday afternoon and Friday evening, and then said it eventually hit. What
Is
time?
it frozen rain snow?
No,
Oh, okay.
Supposed to start late Friday night.
no.
Early Saturday morning.
Freezing rain is just ice. Snow is, and we were actually talking about this. It's how it travels through the atmosphere, going from warm to hot, hot to warm to hot, or versus, I mean, cold to warm, cold to warm. And yeah, I would much rather take snow. I mean,
So when it hits the ground, is it like a like little drop? I've never been in freezing rain, so is it still little droplets, but they're like frozen like ice
like
cubes?
sleet, yeah. It's like
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like little ice balls, you know.
Oh, okay. Oh, like the balls. Okay.
Or little strands, whatever. I mean, usually it's in the form of a ball and or a cylindrical, frozen mass. But we got probably about 1.25 inches of it. And what's crazy is like when you I would rather shovel snow. It's just you shovel. This you have to scrape. It was like a Snoopy snow cone machine. Like you'd scrape that, then it would just take off like the first layer and the second.
Okay.
I had to do it 5 times in order to get down to the cement or down to the pavement or the driveway.
Okay, so it doesn't. So it's not like snow where they're so it's like when it lands, it's like hard pack.
It
So-
hard packs on, and with the weather and the cold weather, and it warms up, it becomes very hard packed. So when we'd walk out on it, it'd be 1 inch thick, but it's solid. And yeah, that's why you got to really salt properly and everything. But yeah, I mean, it was thank God we didn't lose electricity. We were prepared for everything. Lots of light, flashlights. We got the generator all ready to go. Didn't need it, watched some good football this weekend. It was very close games, very crazy. The Denver New England game, it was like you'd watch the first half. It was sunny, it was bright, it was colorful.
I know.
And then at halftime, it was like, what the hell happened?
Oh, I know, brutal. I know we got 4 Buckeyes going to the Super Bowl, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Rams fan, so I was not happy about the game. But I do listen. I've never been a hater of the Patriots like a lot of folks are, right? Some people are like, I hate Kraft, I hate Belichick, I hate Tom Brady. Tom Brady, if he's from Michigan, I know you probably don't like him too much, but I've always been impressed with how well they've done. Even with they had receivers playing D-backs playing receivers at sometimes, and always put together good teams. And look how many Super Bowls they won. So I'm actually pretty excited to see them go back to the Super Bowl. Without the lineup, but they still have their fingerprint because Vrabel's the coach. And that Sam Darnold, boy oh boy, he was passed around, and he had a winning season last year with Minnesota, and they were like, F you, we're getting rid of you. Now he's going to the Super Bowl. So they said, I mean, I was not happy with the Rams losing, but it was a close game. I mean, listen, they both threw for over 350 yards. They both threw for 3 touchdowns. It was a hell of a game, but guess what? It's just they happened to win. So
yeah, I was never a fan of the Patriots and the it's same with like Alabama. I love Coach Saban now, but it was like, when you get a team that wins constantly, you're just like, you know what? Fuck you guys, and you hate them. But afterwards, Edelman, Gronk, the quarterback there. What I can't think of his name. Brady. I like them now. I think they're funny. I think they're relatable. They're like I like watching them in interviews. I like watching all 3 of them talk, and it's like, oh hey, I kind of like these guys. I love watching Nick Saban.
Yeah,
I don't know who you think is going to win. Who's your Stogie Road's locked to win the Super Bowl.
They're dopey dudes, is what it
Yeah.
is. And sits there with a big wad of chewing, and you hear about them drinking and partying and everything. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, listen, you got to figure the Patriots run Drake May through 86 yards. They won the game.
Yeah.
I think Seattle's going to win. It's going to be tough though, because the Patriots have a really, 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 really good defense. They had a quiet season where they probably not up in the Northeast, but they played good football. They dominated. They had a great season. But I think Seattle is just.
I got my money on Seattle.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think Seattle's going to come in. They're going to win, and Darnold's going to flip his nose. Thumb his nose at everybody. But yeah, that's what I predict.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be pretty solid beating. I don't think it's going to be a close game.
I don't know that I don't know. So
not unless the refs, if you want to believe in the conspiracies.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a solid game. It's going to be like 27-7.
Yeah. You always want the. If a team you're rooting for, you always want a blowout, but then you always want close. Like all of the college football playoff games, like all of them were such great games. Most of them were all the way down to the final.
His time has come.
So,
dude, he always reminds me of the freaking redheaded stock guy from The Office. Sam Darnold. If you look at him and you look at their pictures side by side, it's like, God dang, he looks just like him.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have some good commercials, and I don't think I watched the Super Bowl last year. I think I was too busy, and I think I had it on in the background or something. But I don't know. We'll see if anybody's throwing together a little. I don't like going to Super Bowl parties anymore. And my buddy Brian, if he throws one, he's got a nice workshop, where he builds all his cars, so I can smoke cigars out there. But if like people are having it in their house, I'm like, nah, I can smoke in my house. Well, in my lounge, have my own food and everything else. Yeah, if I lived up there, I'd just come over. We'd watch it in your garage, or you'd watch it here, and then that's it. Have our own food, have our own drinks, bathroom, smoke cigars. Pause the game.
Did Sunday.
Pause the game whenever you want. Yeah.
It was icy. It was snowy. The whole weekend we just stayed out here in the lounge. We watched TV. We freaking smoked cigars, and we ate out here too. Jennifer brought out the TV trays, and we ate out here. This is where we spent the whole weekend, and just watched the weather. Man, I'll tell you what, that freezing rain, it was like a torrential downpour. It looked like a summer storm. There's actually calls for thunderstorms, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I just I didn't do much. I put new outlets in the lounge here. They all have LED lights.
And, that's right. You're talking about that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty disappointed. They kind of suck.
Why?
Eight outlets cost me $300 to buy 8 outlets. And, on the Kickstarter, they showed this nice glow around the outlet. And I'm like, oh, that'll be some cool ambiance. I got 2 outlets behind the shelves up there. It'll glow some colors. Then I get it. I'm like, these suck. $300 on outlets, and they barely glow at all.
So you got some LED lights and just taped them to
I could have got some LED lights and plugged them into each outlet, and would have been a hell of a lot fucking better than what I got.
That sucks. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, it is what it is. You live and learn. So whatever. Now I'll get some plug-in LEDs. But yeah, that's all I did Sunday is do that and then piddle around the house because I thought I'd had today off. I had to go in today to interview a kid, but they called me this morning. The one tech, the only other lead tech called in sick. So I'm like, I got to go in at 11 anyways for this interview. So I'll just come in for the day. And had this kid, because we told the boss and Eric and I, the other lead tech, you guys don't get to interview these kids anymore. Nope, not happening. These people come and go, and they'll finish up an interview and be like, well, I got a good feeling about this one. Do you? That's what you said the last 4 or 5 fucking times. So I didn't know he was inside. So Mike comes out, same thing. Hey, you want to go talk to this kid? I got a good feeling about this one. And that's what I said. I go, that's what you keep fucking saying, bro. So I was in between cars waiting on some parts. So I'm like, yeah, I do. So Mike went to follow me inside and I'm like, you stay out here. HR might not like what I'm about to say to this kid. So I went in there, introduced myself, and actually a young kid had some short dreads, no big deal. Very well dressed though. Kind of button up slacks, button up shirt, nice shoes. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, hey, I'm Kevin, the lead tech. I go, this job that you're applying for sucks. Why do you want it? And that's how I led it off. I'm like, well, what did you do? They told me you were a diesel tech. And he goes, yeah, up in Chicago. He worked for like a maintenance, I don't know, for the city or, a bunch of trucks. And then he was changing, oil and bulbs and doing like PM. So I'm like, oh, so you were like a maintenance tech. You weren't actual, a diesel tech. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm a diesel tech. Well, diesel techs in Florida make, $180,000 a year. We're going to pay you like $16 an hour. So, right. Why do you want this job? So I'm like, listen, you're the only one here that gets paid by the hour. So when there's nothing to do and we're playing on our phones, you're going to be sweeping. You're going to be taking the trash out. You're going to be taking the used tires out, and you're going to be doing all the crap that we don't want to do because you get paid by the hour. I go, in return, I will save you $30,000 worth of schooling, and we will teach you to be a mechanic if that's what you want. He goes, that's what I want. He goes, I want to learn more to better myself. And, he goes, I love working on cars. My dad is always like fixing up like old Caprices. So I'm like, all right, that's what I want to hear. I go, because I said for the next 9 months, it's all you're going to be doing is oil changes and tires, and then in your spare time, you can watch and ask questions on what we're doing. So, yeah. So hopefully he works out. Seems like a good. So I'm kind of excited because I got 6 weeks to whip him into shape, because for the next 6 weeks I'm working Sundays and I'm working 6 days a week because we're losing a kid. So
you're not gonna be very happy, are you?
I mean, I've done it, so I had to work 6 days a week on like July, August, and September. Then I got October off, and then like mid-November, everybody started taking vacation. So I was back to like 6 days a week for, November, December. So I got January off. So yeah. So, and then we're starting my new diet, or where Jessica's joining me. So yeah, which I need to, I gained 15 pounds over the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm staring at probably about the same.
Are you?
Yeah. It was like, man, I feel great. You know what? It started trickling like right after my birthday. Yeah. And I was like, oh, birthday week, I hang out with Montana, cheat a little bit. Then we kind of got back on track again. And then the holidays hit. And then it was like this 3 days of it. What really sucks, especially when you fast and you eat well. You can have like 4 awesome days and you are feeling it, and you stand on the scale and you see it. And then it's just one fucking day of just like, wow, those M&Ms look good.
Yeah.
So does that Guinness and M&Ms. What could go wrong?
Yeah, it's and then for me, because when I'm at work, like in the summertime, I can't eat big lunches. Like it has to be really light, fruit, maybe a yogurt cup, maybe a salad. But in the wintertime, like I can bring leftovers. Like I can eat spaghetti, lasagna. I can eat heavier meals for lunch, which I like. But in the summertime, when it's 110 degrees and I'm sweating, I can't eat any of that shit. I will throw up in the shop.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So, but in the wintertime, it's it's been fucking brutal. So
yeah, I definitely stood on a scale, and I saw it slowly creeping, and I was like, you know what, time to come to an end. And then tonight's dinner, I was like, okay, start tomorrow. Just restart tomorrow. Yeah. Jennifer made. There's a pizza place by here that has fantastic pizza. And they make this vodka sauce that is phenomenal. Like I could take it and just drink it. That's how good
Yeah.
it is. You know, it's that creamy pink sauce. So she made grilled chicken, which was like, hey, healthy. And then it was like angel hair pasta. It's my favorite. Some vodka sauce, which is creamy, probably a little bit, and then some steamed broccoli, which is like, okay, this is kind of nice and balanced. And then she took the leftover pizza dough that she had, garlic, butter, cheese, and it made her own like garlic cheese, ridiculously freaking awesome, whatever the hell it was. And I was just like, yep, right there. 2 or 3 slices of that. Everything else goes to freaking hell in a handbasket.
That's it. So I'm gonna do the 18-6 fast, and Jessica is gonna do the 12-12. So she's kind of new to fasting, so I don't want to push her over the.
May you spend most of the 12 hours of fasting away from Jessica so you don't kill each other.
Yeah, so for her 6 hours or so of she'll be sleeping for at least 6 hours of her 12-hour fast, and then I'll be at work for the other 6 hours.
Then it'll
so
work.
by the time I get home, she'll have already had lunch at least. And then so all will have the dinner. So I'm going to do the 18-6, and then I'm going to do a 24 each week.
Yeah,
so,
I've been doing 16 pretty steady, you know, doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, my goal is 18, but if I can get because just my schedule, 16 is going to be my minimum. I have to do 16.
Yeah.
If I can stretch it out for 18, I'm going to try. But you know how, I mean, after 16, it just gets me that weird time of day. If dinner's not like, because on 18, like I'm going to have to come home and dinner's going to have to be ready like in 20 minutes, you know, of me eating. So to get that 18. So 16 is my, going to be my lock.
That's good. I mean, 14 and higher is the best. I mean, I always shoot, like I said, 15 is usually where I'll sometimes like to the minute 15 and then just start eating. You know, there's some days that I'm like that, and then there's other days it's like, holy shit, it blows by and you don't realize that you haven't eaten anything yet. And it's like 16, 17 hours blow by. But you see, if Jessica and you were together during this period of time, there would be obviously grumpiness, which there's nothing worse than being around someone who's hangry. I've been hangry, and Jen could probably testify that I'm not at all freaking very nice to be around when I'm hangry. It's not. I'm a dick. Then I can see if Jessica decides that she's going to eat something at the 11th hour, and freaking stopwatch Kevin would be there going, "Hey, Jessica, it's supposed to be 12-hour fast. It's 11. You said 12 and 12." And then at that point, we would be freaking hearing about how you fell upon some accident.
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, if she stays on it, if she breaks it, I'm fine with that. I'm just going to do me. I think she'll commit to it. And I think she'll realize after a month that fasting works. And, hey, what's going on, brother? And she doesn't need to try like all these other fads, to try and keep, get rid of some of the weight. And
it's a lifestyle is what it is. It's not a diet, really, it's not a fad, it's a lifestyle.
It is. We got 28 days to lock it in. For me, it's easy because I'm obsessive compulsive anyways. And it's easy for me at work. Like I said, I don't eat, it took like 6 months because I used to eat breakfast. I liked having, I'd come into work and it was about 9 a.m. and it was always something light, and I would have a breakfast, and it took a while for those hunger pangs to stop. And now most days, like I said, it's 10:30, 11, I'll do my Metamucil, and then 30 minutes later, I'll, except those slow days at work, man, when you're standing around and how your just stomach starts growling. And it's just like, hey, come on, let's do something.
I got to start doing my Metamucil. I've noticed that there's a direct correlation between my slacking off and then my Metamucil usage. I like you. I used to eat a lot breakfast in the morning. I'm a big breakfast fan. And a lot of it was just like a bagel, toasted bagel, or a toasted English muffin with crunchy peanut butter on top. And then I look back on it, like that was back during the fat care days, and I'm like, man, I was just 3 meals, snacks at night, just eating. It was just high caloric intake. And when you do this fasting, even now that I gained some weight back over the holidays, it's not as bad as it probably could have been because of, when you cheat, when you are used to fasting, I still fast. I mean, there's a couple of days maybe during the week or whenever, over the holidays where I may have had a breakfast, because family was over or whatever. But most of the times I'm still fasting. I'm not eating until late morning, or at noon. It's just the amount I was eating. And then, of course, when it's nighttime and it's freaking Christmas time and it's like, hey, let's sit down and watch some TV. Oh, some more Christmas cookies. A little bit easier just to start freaking house and Christmas cookies where strict after dinner, nothing but water. Boom. On to the day. So I think that allowed me to pick up some weight, but not completely steamroll out of control.
Yeah, mine was always Sunday mornings. I get up like 7:30, 7:45 and pound about 2,000 calorie breakfast, eggs, bacon, toast, or a bagel, hash browns, or potatoes. And that was just my Sunday morning, just like all week long of doing good, busting my ass at work. And I just want a big breakfast and a cigar to start my Sunday. And that's always my weakness. And then
not bad to do once a week, if you can leave down.
Yeah, and it was and it's all like, it wasn't junk food, it is, eggs, potatoes, it's, or we go to their favorite bagel place and just get a bagel sandwich, so it wasn't a lot of garbage food. It's just little calories. And then nighttime snacking, that's what even if it's the holidays was bad because there was too many sweets, too many pies, everything laying around, because normally it was always just peanuts, dried cranberries, and then like an ounce of dark chocolate chips, and that just for a little bit of sweetness. And so that, and a big glass of milk, a 10, 12 ounce glass of milk every night. That's what I'll miss. Jessica won't miss my milk intake, having to buy that much milk every week. But yeah, so my nighttime snacking, that'll be probably the hardest thing for me to get used to.
I'm fine with that. Actually, what's always good too is after like a Sunday, if I have like a sloppy Sunday and I wake up Monday morning and I kind of do my thing, the show really helps me because I won't eat, like I had dinner and I'll sit here and chat. I don't bring out any more snacks anymore. Before I bring out peanuts, maybe some freaking M&Ms, or whatever. But, I'll just sit here and drink water the whole show, and then just pivot right back to that. Even the guy, Corey Gregory, he's the one who does that metabolic fasting diet where he does the fasting like we do, but for his meals are strictly protein and good fats.
Yeah.
That's it. So for dinner and lunch, he'll have chicken, beef, whatever, maybe some broccoli, some avocado, some good fats or some nuts. And then the one thing he does that was interesting is at 9 o'clock at night, he'll have either two tablespoons of peanut butter or even a half of a baked sweet potato.
Yeah.
Because that makes your fucking insulin pop. And then it actually brings along human growth hormones and other types of freaking, different chemicals in the body that are good for you, especially when you get older. But I try and keep away and reduce the carb intake and really keep the protein intake higher than before. So there's some guys ask me, I was gonna say.
I'm considering getting Affiodano humidor. Just curious, do you still have yours and how do you like it? So I'm actually in contact with it's either 4 or 5 guys. I can't remember. It might be 5 that have bought because of my humidor, my video, and make sure you use the discount code in my videos for the Affiano humidor. It doesn't just work on the ones that I did the review on. My code works on all of the humidors. You can actually save quite a bit of money, and we all love these things. People started reaching out to me, and they asked me, "Hey, it's been like 3 months, and I haven't used any water yet. How about you?" And I'm like, "It's been 6 months, and I haven't filled mine back up yet." And it's probably been a year, and I still haven't filled the water jug up yet. That from the original like fill, and I changed it out once because I'm like, I think it might be getting like the water stale. So I pulled it out, drained all the water, and filled it back up, and like it was only down like a little bit. So it's rock solid. I love it. So and all the guys I'm still in contact with, they love theirs as well. So
which one do you have?
I don't know. I think I have like the 1200 count. Like it's it's pretty good size. It's a big one, and they're expensive. They're not cheap, but I'll tell you they're worth every bit, because I think unlike a lot of these other manufacturers that have converted wine coolers into cigar humidors, there seems to always be an issue with that. Like they burn through a lot of water. They're not quite right. This is a company that built cigar humidors. That's what they focused on.
Right.
And I think they perfected it. So definitely Affiano, AFIDANO. Check out their website. Check out my videos. Just type in cigar prop Affiano. You'll find a couple videos I did. There's a discount code in the the video description. So check those out and save you quite a bit, anywhere between $300 and like $600, depending on which one you get. So
yeah, they're pretty sharp. I mean, they definitely are very classic looking, very classy.
Yeah, I finally had to up the humidity finally on those ones I've been aging, Kerr, the ones that came in too moist. I just checked those the other day, and they're all sitting right at 59 to 60%, just about all of them. So I'm like, perfect. I think I got those in like September.
Yeah.
So that just proves, I said, people, I said, if you think a cigar is too moist, people are like, oh, I'll just, take out the humidity, or I'll do whatever. And in 30 days, or a couple weeks. No, that's 5 months or so, to finally bring the humidity level down. So if a cigar is over humidified, it takes a while, even if it's just in a small humidor. Same thing when they're under humidified. If they're dry, if they're in the cello, it's going to take a long time to bring that humidity up or down.
Yeah, because we've had that conversation. It was like, if you are definitely committed to the cello, it's going to be a while. You want to freaking cut your time in half, or take them out of the cello, let them freaking let that cedar suck away at that freaking humidity. Yeah,
I think what helped me is I cut all the cello flush with the cigar, so they stayed in the cello, but it wasn't folded over. So I think that really helped quite a bit. So so now that they're right, I can start promoting those and start pushing those again. And I may end up waiting and then doing a good deal when we have our 10th anniversary cigar that'll be launching this year. So maybe I'll do some kind of bundle.
Looking forward to that
bundle deal with those. I'm looking for. I got to reach out to the guy that's doing that and see how that project's going. We were the bands were the getting those perfected. So, but so doing that, and it's going to be a good. Be busy 2026, man. Our 3D printer business is just exploding.
I was going to say, you're going to have a 3D printer farm, and you're going to be overseeing that versus watching a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm thankfully Jessica works from home, so there's nothing she does during the day. Just when they're finished, she just pops all the things off the plates and hits restart, and then she's done like a minute worth of her time, or a couple minutes a day. But so we've got 5 now. They're running. They're running right now. I'll set them before I go to bed, and then when I get up in the morning, they'll just be finishing up, and I'll just keep going. But a lot more cigar companies we're doing some projects for. So unfortunately, I can't tell anybody who I'm doing the projects for. So, but
Did you see the I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's it.
I was gonna say, did you see the article, the article I sent you about the transfer portal?
No, where did you see on that messenger?
I think so.
How did I miss?
Yeah, they had a big to do where they had someone go into the transfer portal. He's a linebacker. I think he committed to Clemson. And he's from Cal, yeah. So he was committed. He was playing at Cal. He was like the rookie defensive player of the year or something crazy like that. He committed to Clemson, chose them on the portal. I guess went to Clemson and was hanging out and did some workouts with them and everything. And then Ole Miss reached out to him. I think he was getting like $800,000 or something like that to play at Clemson. And Ole Miss came in and doubled it.
Yeah.
And then he freaking said, I'm going back in the portal. I went to Ole Miss.
I know
never really officially signed anything with Clemson.
Oh, okay. So they didn't officially sign.
But this apparently it is really causing a big to do, and we've had this conversation back when this started really taking place on how it's just bad, and something's going to happen where it's going to start getting some major negative pushback, and this is a biggie. It really is, because Sweeney's pissed off because the old Miss coach was reaching out to this guy after he committed to Clemson. You're basically taking college players. You're like, hey, we'll give you $1.5 million to come here and play. So, they're no longer losing this year of eligibility. It is officially now what we talked about. I think it was last week or whatever, where you have the pros and then you have the freaking college pros, and that's it. There you don't need to have a USFL or an XFL or any other type of minor league football team for the NFL. These kids are going to college and they're getting paid a ridiculous amount of money.
And I know there might be more, but I know of 5 college players that are getting sued by their teams because of the NIL money. They want their money. They want everything back. When they enter the portal, and like, hey, you signed a contract with us, for this money and to play here, and then you dip after a year, and we want our money back. It's this is what you owe us. And then I didn't know the what was it, the quarterback for Miami? I had heard hey, he hasn't been to class in like 2 years, and people are like, oh, these kids aren't even going to class. And then he did the interview and he says, yeah, I graduated 2 years ago. Like he's already got his degree, so he's been playing for 2 years as he's as a football player. Yeah, he didn't have to go
6-year red shirt. I'm like, fuck, this is.
I assume that he had to. You stay in class. You get your. If you're there for 2 more years, get your master's or do whatever it is you're going to do. But I thought you still had to go to class.
There was always amount of credits that you had to carry in order to be eligible to play college athletics. It was always amount, because my last year of college, I went 4.5 years, and the way it works is you had 5 years of college to play 4 years of sports. So you had a redshirt year, right? My senior year, I played lacrosse and fell in love with it. That summer, I went down and played the lacrosse league down at Dewey Beach, Rehoboth Beach. I came back what would that be considered fall, the fall semester, and I did some student coaching, and then I was done in December. I still had 6 credits. I think I was short because I took a lot of law classes. I have a political science degree. I took a lot of law classes as a lot of optional classes, because you have you have your core curriculum classes that you need to take, and then you have all of your core major classes that you need to take, and then you just have a lot of electives. And I really gravitated to law because I had some idea, well, maybe, if I take enough law classes, maybe, it's good to have that under your belt. I wanted to get into, police work and everything else. So my teacher came up to me. She goes, you're like 6 credits short of getting your paralegal certificate. She's like, you're really not going to do anything with it, but it would be nice to have. You don't get a law minor. You could get your paralegal certificate. So I started kicking around the idea of going back to school and taking those classes and a couple other law classes, so I could play one more year of lacrosse.
Yeah,
that would have been my 5 years to play 4 years of athletics. And I decided not to because my dad said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that paralegal certificate?" And I said, "Nothing." He said, "You're not going to spend all that money to go back and play another semester of lacrosse. Get your ass home and get a job." And I was like,
"Yeah,
sounds good, Big Tony." That ended pretty quickly. I didn't have freaking, daddy's money to go fucking do whatever the fuck I wanted. So, but that was like, again, 5 years to play 4 years of sports, and you had to carry a specific load of credits in order to be eligible to play college athletics. This is crazy, learning that you have someone who hasn't been to school in 2 years and they graduate and they're still playing fucking football.
Yeah, he graduated from another college. It wasn't even Miami. It was another college that he got his degree at.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And they definitely have to, and hopefully they listen to Saban about moving the windows of the portal to the spring. After the bowl games are done. That way, any coaching changes, any of this it won't be a distraction for the bowl games. Because you got kids that are, they don't want to play in the Ted's Mower Bowl in Boise, Idaho. So they just enter the portal and just bounce.
We may see more of that because I just looked it up right here. And it says the quarterback, because remember, he played for Georgia.
Yeah.
Carson, he played at Georgia. And it said his 2020 redshirt year is an extra year of eligibility granted by the NCAA because of COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and having graduated by utilizing his remaining eligible as a graduate transfer from Georgia to Miami, he was able to play with a substantial NIL package.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So he played and made between $3 and $6 million just to play college football.
Yeah, just to play college football and just to up that. And I'm assuming he's going to going to enter the draft. This year.
Take you know what? At this point, you have the NIL. Stop with this freaking with these college athletes getting free education.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop it 100%. If you're getting paid $3 million a year, you can pay the fucking tuition. If you're getting paid $800,000, $500,000 a year, you can pay the tuition. I think the whole full ride scholarship. We only have so many scholarships to give to the team.
Yeah.
That shit just needs to go away. Give those scholarships to other students, and be done with that nonsense. Just be done with it, because it's a waste. It's a waste of an education that someone who really may not have been able to afford it, or they're paying extra money with student loans. You're going to pay someone $3 million to come to your school and they have a scholarship? It's absurd.
Yeah, and hopefully, some of these kids, like I said, as long as he banked that money, maybe invested it, so he's probably not going to go. He may go round one, but if he drops a few rounds and he doesn't make a lot of money in the NFL, he's sitting a little pretty, got some coin in the bank, pretty. And got some coin in the bank. The NFL thing doesn't work out. His investments do well. And that reminds me on investments. Great podcast. Mike Rowe has it's called The Way I Heard It. And he was just interviewing James Woods and James Wood is a kooky cat. And I love James Woods.
He was talking about,
He's brilliant, and and unfortunately blacklisted from Hollywood. He cannot act anymore. But he's got like 7 albums. He's writing. Who's singing this song is Waylon Jennings' son. Is so he was talking about in the 80s. He went to his financial advisor, his broker. You know, like, hey, there's a little company called Apple. I'd like to invest in that. And he said, and they're like, why? And he goes, they have an icon on the screen that looks like a little trash can, and you can throw things in that trash can. He goes, that's genius, you know. And so his investor goes, you know what? I don't think I want to represent someone, you know, that's just going to like waste their money, you know, like that. And James like, okay, if I took all the money I had right now and invested everything in Apple, how many shares could I buy? And the guy's like, 13,000. He goes, okay, buy me 13,000 shares of Apple, and then you can fire me. And he did. He still has those original 13,000 shares.
Wow.
I put that in the chat GPT, $800 million. He's never
MIT graduate. He's not stupid. I mean, he scored almost near perfect on SAT.
Yeah. It was insane. Almost $1 billion that he hasn't touched.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
look who was an early investor in Starbucks. Who was it? Kenny G?
Oh, really?
I think so. Who's the guy who's the early investor with? I think it is Kenny G. Early investor with Starbucks.
It's crazy. It's just, you know,
maybe it is. Maybe is it Kenny G? Yeah, he was an early investor with Starbucks. Joined in the mid 80s.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the first people. He's one of the initial investors who supported Howard Schultz when his company was expanding in 1980.
Yeah, you just don't know.
He's the one who prompted Schultz and introduced the blended drink, which popularized the Frappuccino. Thank you very much, Kenny G, for the Frappuccino.
Thank you, Kenny G. So, but yeah, so yeah, I don't know. You never know. You never know. So what's going to pop? But yeah, you talking about the investing, and I just finished up that. I want to go look up some of his music on Spotify, and yeah, he's wrote like 8 albums, and he one of his songs or the album was briefly number 6, you know, on the charts.
Who James Woods?
James Wood.
Yeah. The dude's it's pretty interesting when you see him. He gets interviewed. He's blacklisted and everything else because he's a very conservative individual, and he's a very intelligent conservative individual who has no problem standing up and stepping up. But you know, and he's the one who's basically has no problem taking it in the pants, you know, professionally.
That's it. He's the one that brought Oppenheimer to the studios and Chris Nolan. You know, that was James Wood, you know, as in I think he ended up being like got an executive producer credit, you know, on Oppenheimer, and it's just like God. So he's I mean, I've always been a fan of his, and he's definitely one of those, like you said, a kooky, goofy looking guy. But then when you really get into just who he is, you're just like, God dang, that dude's he's bright dude, and just kind of says, hey. I've always loved him, and then when he had a reoccurring role on The Family Guy, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a reoccurring role on Family Guy for a long time. James Wood, he's just always showing up. That was the high school. It was James Wood's high school.
Really?
So before they changed the name of the high school, probably when that whole shit went down and he got blacklisted. You know, they had to change the name of the school for. But yeah, it's it's sad to see that, you know, just because you're political, and that's what, you know, maybe we can segue into that. I don't want to get into politics, but I know Jessica and I was just talking because there was that nurse that she's a labor and delivery nurse, and she just got fired the other day because she did a video before she took it down, and obviously, videos like that, people screenshot and they're like, ooh, this is a hot take. Let me record this video or download it. So when shit hits the fan, she was praying that Caroline Levitt, had, she's like, I hope you tear from, stem to stern, when you give birth and you have a stage 4 tear and this and that. And then it's just like, what the fuck? And then people are outraged. And even Jessica and I had, differing opinions on whether she deserved to get fired or not. And on that. And I'm like, did she deserve to get fired? I go, I can't say that. And I go, but her employer had every right to fire her if they didn't like what she said, even if it's her First Amendment right to say whatever she wants, it's still your employer.
Yeah. I think I think you're right. I think if you were talking about the freedom of speech, you have the right to say whatever you want, believe whatever you want. I do believe that when you get into the medical profession, you have nurses, doctors, whatever, you have, that serve your patient, do no harm. That is really, and again, it doesn't matter who comes across your freaking operating table. You could be the biggest leftist freaking political freaking whatever doctor, and if the president comes in, you see a human being that you are working on. That's the way it should be. And the same holds true, if you are a very right-wing, physician and a Biden or Obama or someone comes in, that is your Hippocratic oath. It's part of the medical profession. So if you have someone who is a nurse who's wishing harm and that type of horrible type of delivery to someone just because of their political belief, you are going into an area that is you're no longer in that objective medical field anymore. You are now getting into not only being subjective, but now you're getting into harmful, which to me, there is no, in my opinion, I don't think that there is any room for that. For the
not at all.
Being a medical professional like that.
Yeah, you can have your opinion. You could say, I think what ICE is doing is wrong. I don't like President Trump. That's fine. You could say that all day long. I don't have a problem with that. If your employer has a problem with that, that's them. But when you start wishing harm on another human being, it's like, when you start doxing, these, whatever, telling people where they live, you're doing harm. There's a big difference. I think what people consider, that's my First Amendment right to say whatever I want. But when you're,
even if she wasn't a nurse and she said that, that's the employer's, right. Like you said, it's one of those things where it's like, listen, I know you have a, when I first worked at Enterprise Rent a Car out of college, we have a policy. You have to wear a shirt, tie, clean shaven, short hair. Well, I don't want to be clean shaven. Well, then you don't got to work here.
Yeah.
Those are the rules and the policies of it. You see it in the NFL with the way that they wear their socks and everything. Everybody has their policies. Same when it comes to, what you're saying. It's entirely up to someone if they want to fire you or not, or if they don't think it's, viable. At that point, you can take legal action if you think it's unwarranted or unjust. But I think if you're in a medical profession and you are someone who is caring for people, if you start wishing harm and death on someone, I have a moral problem with that. I think you venture into a completely different realm.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You have a it's especially as a labor and delivery nurse. You're gonna have patients coming in, and I don't know. It's like, can this woman be? What if she finds out I have a Trump, a Trump Vance sticker on my car?
Right.
What's going to happen?
What kind of care am I going to get? What kind of care am I going to get if I come in and they know that I'm conservative or a Christian conservative? At that point, you're no longer impartial, and you're not being objective when it comes to the treatment and the health of another human being. We've seen it in the past where you've had, white doctors refusing to operate on black patients and refusing to treat black patients. Horrible.
Yeah.
And you've even seen, we just watched, who was the president that got shot? Michael Shannon played him. He was the shortest president ever. Grover Cleveland, or was it Grover?
He was the shortest president ever.
Well, the shortest run, not the shortest physically in stature.
Oh.
He was only in office like 30 days or 90 days or something crazy like that.
I wonder who the shortest president was.
But he got shot in the back, and his surgeon was there, just completely like sticking all sorts of freaking unhealthy freaking devices in him. And there was an African American doctor. What's that? James Garfield. And there was an African American doctor there who had a clinic nearby. And they were like, nah, just get away from me. And like the surgeon didn't want to talk to him. And they found out that the reason why he actually died and succumbed to his wounds because of the freaking unsterile nature of and what this doctor was doing opened up like an abscess in his, what was it? Something ridiculous. Wasn't it? It was like a freaking foot long, like it tunneled through his body, this abscess, and it fucking popped. And he just died of sepsis, But my point to all that, even the shortest president will find out for you later on, Kevin.
James Madison, 5 feet 4 inches.
James Madison at 5'4". It just goes to show you that there have been things in the past, and even nowadays, it's just making this political stance that I'm not going to do X, Y, Z because of your political beliefs. And I think, again, you take the humanity out of things, And listen, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of posts about some of these, ICE agents that, I won't call them protests, people getting shot. And I hate seeing that. That's horrible. It's human life.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Just because someone thinks or believes that maybe they shouldn't have been in that position. Maybe they shouldn't have put themselves in that position. Maybe they shouldn't have been. So whatever case may be, it doesn't mean that you don't lack empathy and sympathy for the families and mourn the loss of another human being. I think the whole fuck around and find out is overused. But I think it's used to say, hey, look, this person shouldn't have been in that, put themselves in that situation. But at the end of the day, to see that human loss over something, it's sad and it's disgusting. It really is.
It is, and we're just seeing a lot of the blurring of the lines, when people, talk about my First Amendment, I believe in all of them, and my son is serving in the military. And to defend your, for all your rights, and but it's I don't know. You just can't say and do whatever you want and not expect consequences.
No, I mean, we live in a great country. We live in a country that, a lot of other countries don't have some of the freedoms that we have here. And one of the biggest freedoms that we have is the right to protest, assemble peacefully. We see and we read in the newspaper and we see in the news how many of the folks who are the uprisings in Iran who are just sick and tired of being of the leaders over there, and they're being killed just because they're protesting the government. And we have that right here. It's just that some people will take that to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And then they want to be this armed rebellion. And
under the guise of First Amendment.
And at that point, you're putting yourself in an uncompromising position. And there are bad things that are going to occur because of the decisions that are being made. And I hate seeing it. I think that the country, if everybody would take a step back and not listen to the politicians, not listen to the freaking media, and take a step back. So I love the cigar lounge. You go in, you have a conversation with somebody, you find out you have more similarities than you do differences. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who don't want that type of camaraderie and connection to occur.
I agree, you know, and you can't listen to the media. You know, I follow a hilarious husband and wife team. Actually, I follow a few people online that are from the UK, and they, you know, a lot of times they'll come here and they'll travel for 2, 3, 4 weeks, do a bunch of videos, and they go back and then they'll make videos, things I miss most about the America and the States. And one couple actually moved here finally, and they just did a video recently, and he's like, one question I always got from everybody back home was, did you feel safe? Did you feel safe in America? We're always hearing on the news, you know, everything that's going on. And his wife had said that when that they were really concerned when they first decided to come over here, rent an RV for 2 weeks and travel the US. They really were concerned about their safety. And he goes, that is so far from the truth. He goes, my brethren in the UK, please, you got to stop listening to the news. You got to stop listening to the mainstream media. You know, is that what they're showing? That's not America. That's not America at all. You know, they're showing little tiny pockets here and there.
It's, I mean, listen, back in the day, it was, you know, they always had, you know, the media, the newspapers was always, if it bleeds, it leads. You know, it was like,
yeah.
You know, if peace could break out all over the world and there could be one freaking community that's freaking being torn apart, and that's what they're going to hyper focus on. And it's sad. I mean, listen, we are in the, if you would have told me when I was in high school that in the next 40 years, you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be proof that there's UFOs. There's going to be proof that there's alien life. There's life beyond our planet. And the government's going to come out and say, we don't know what's going on. I would be like, dude, that's got to be like on every single freaking news source. Oh, no, it's not going to be.
Yeah, nobody's going to care.
I would be like, what do you mean no one's going to care, dude? It's aliens. Like, aliens. No,
but we'll be talking about different aliens. That's what we'll be talking about.
No, we're going to talk about a guy who invented electric cars to save the environment. He's created reusable rockets that freaking land on their own, and they freaking are captured at the freaking launching pad, and has freaking found freaking billions of dollars out useless spending of your own dollars. That's what we're gonna be talking about him and how much we hate him, and we want to freaking burn those electric cars that we love so much. We're not gonna be talking about aliens. We're not gonna be talking the fact that there's freaking craft out there that our freaking pilots are engaging and they're no longer, you know, being freaking silenced, and they're not embarrassed to talk about it anymore. You know, we're going to have that much technology in our fingertips and our phones that we're going to be able to record it on a regular basis and slow it down and really understand and try and understand what's going on. And we're going to have leaks about how we're reverse engineering this technology. But you won't know it. You're going to have to watch the Y files to figure that shit out.
That's it. I'm going to make a note here and send you, because I want to watch it. I was just watching the Danny Jones podcast the other day, and they had a guy on, and he did the original documentary. He just released another documentary, and they actually just had, which I got to look up, which I'll put the 20th, which just passed. They had a big press conference and thing in Washington, D.C. And are you familiar with the Virginia? I know Y-Files talked about it, and I've seen like 5 or 6
Sounds
things.
familiar. Keep talking.
Yeah, it was the 3 girls found like the little alien hiding against a wall, and then
with the big eyes and the red eyes.
Yeah, the red eyes.
Yeah.
So he just did a follow-up on that, and the one neurosurgeon who never wanted to talk about it, he's coming down to like his days. So, you know, like he's opening up, and like now like the mayor and the police chief, and they're like, yeah, it happened. You know, we saw. So there's a follow-up to that documentary that's out now on the Virginia. So I'm going to look that up, and I'll send that to you.
Because I remember watching that on the Y-Files, and he tried to dispute their dispel.
He tried, you know, and but I don't know. So, yeah, a lot of stuff has this guy has spent his career researching this and finally got these people to talk. And but yeah, he brought all these people over, and it took I think he said it took a whole year of getting congressmen and getting all the visas and getting everything in order to get these people here to talk in DC and to say this happened. It's we the doctors saw saw the alien, the one doctor that did the blood work on the cop that
military guy died. He had like radiation or something.
The rate, and it ended up being a like a virus or something. And the one and then they say the only thing they could think of, he got scratched by the alien and something under his fingernails or left some kind of whatever microbe in his body, and they're saying they've never seen anything like it. Like it was just what that did to this man's body on the inside.
I remember the whole story. No.
He had never seen it before. He's never seen it since, and it was just nasty. So there's a whole update on the on that incident now.
Really? Yeah, I'm interested because I remember hearing that story and watching different, reading and watching different videos on it. And then I remember it was on the Y-Files, and he kind of shot it down a little bit. But even when he shot it down, a lot of it was like it really smelled bad of like a cover up, because he's like, oh, this military guy who died, there's no he was sick from another disease, and and it was everything was kind of like had a justification to it, but it just didn't seem to add up or align properly. And
the one thing that he's had he had a FOIA a Freedom of Information Act request for like 3 years from the government, and all he wanted was flight records for any flights that went into Brazil in like a 3-month period during that time. That was all, and it was all classified, and they declined to answer his FOIA request. And he goes, that's all I want. Just want the flight records. Were you in? Did we have flights that went into Brazil? Because that's where the U.S. came and picked up the little aliens and took them away. It's all I want to know. Just the flight records. That's all I want. Did we have planes in Brazil in that time frame? So
it's that one, and you know what else always kind of gets me a little kind of. I still have lots of questions about it. Is that whole incident that happened in Miami?
I know what happened. Was that what were we seeing there? A giant alien? What was that?
A lot of people talked about giant aliens disappearing. They were talking about it, but then it was like, oh no, it's just a bunch of rowdy teenagers. But then it was the amount of police that showed up. It just was not. The response did not reflect what the threat was.
Yeah, you scrambled hundreds of Miami police.
It was crazy.
Units. Yeah.
It was crazy, and to this, I mean, there's a lot of, I think, a lot of cover up with that. I mean, something happened that just was not. Again, just taking aliens, whatever, out of it. If you're telling me a bunch of rowdy kids started a fight at a mall and it required that type of response, I'm not believing it.
Yeah,
I'm not believing it. There's something more there.
Oh yeah. It's nuts. Yeah, I forgot all about that Miami incident. That was just a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was. It was. And there's no real good video. And they're like, oh, look, there's a big alien. I'm like, well, that's not showing me anything. That's just showing shadows, whatever. But realistically,
I know, and with that many people and with that many cops, that's the only thing that is like, how did nobody get any footage?
Right.
On the ground. We didn't see anything worthwhile, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also still a little curious on that boogosphere.
Yeah, the boogosphere. Like what's going on with that?
Everybody keeps talking about how it's a fake, and it's like, well, they can't do carbon dating and they can't do this, do that. And I'm like, listen, the same people are saying that there's absolutely nothing under the Sphinx. There's nothing in that area, Like you same people that are trying to dispel, Machu Picchu. It just there's just even the Sphinx itself, just the dating of it. There's just too many questions out there, and I'm not believing anybody anymore.
I'm not, we watched, and this is probably going back 5 years, maybe even 10 years ago. And it was a whole documentary on mermaids. Are mermaids real? They had that one that washed up on the shore, and was that a real video? Was it fake? I don't know. But the one person that was like doing the documentary, and he goes, listen, I don't know if any of this is real. I don't know if any of it's fake. The only question I have is, how can the civilizations from around the world, hundreds or 1,000 years ago, all draw the exact same thing?
Yeah.
How did they all draw the same thing? And they showed photo. They're all doing this. I mean, to the T, all these pictures that they drew looked like the same thing. Same thing with we just watched on the Ancient Aliens, whether you like it or not. But the one thing they were talking about, like all the pharaohs and the leaders,
Yeah.
they all carry the little purse. They're all carrying this little handbag from all over the world, and it's the same shape. It's the exact, and it's like same thing. How it's legitimately like a little handbag that's in their arm. Yeah. Everybody drew the same thing. They carved it into stone.
Dragons.
Dragons.
Dragons across multiple civilizations over a period of time. It's all that same commonality. They all look the same. They're all drawn the same. No, you're right. I mean, you definitely see some of those, especially when you get into even the building of pyramids and the similarities from around the world. I find all that stuff very interesting, and really kind of the more we get into this, we keep plummeting faster and faster into information technology, and it's hard to BS. This isn't the 50s anymore. Yeah. This isn't a bunch of files and freaking Polaroids that are being freaking burned. It's tougher and tougher to hide, and more people are coming out who are just not afraid to be freaking completely ruined by the government, to stay silent. So I think some of these older files that have been dismissed are starting to come back as being a lot of facts built around it. I mean, even when you talk about, you watch some of these military folks, and the Age of Discovery, that documentary, they talk about all the different nuclear bases where the alien ships show up and they shut everything down. I was just watching something the other day about how in Russia back in the 80s during the Cold War, that the lights showed up and actually activated and started the missiles, started all the missiles up. It's just crazy shit that I'll circle back to the conversation. That's just it's not even being talked about. Yeah. In the news. I mean, this is stuff that you figure in our lifetime, which I know we're going to talk about the big inventions, right? In our lifetime, it's like,
hopefully next week, hopefully KMA fucking starts that next week.
But it's like, what's the biggest, not only the biggest invention or whatever, but what's the biggest news, the biggest realization that's occurred over the last 100 years? Major events, things like the development of the atom bomb is up there. I mean, that's fucking massively huge. Going to space, if you believe that if you are a believer of landing on the moon, that obviously is one that is another like monumental occasion that occurred.
If you don't believe we landed on the moon, you might as well be a flat earther as well. I know Rogan's on that now, to where he's like, I think he doesn't believe we landed on the moon. I think he's listening to enough crackpots that have him convinced we didn't land on the moon. So
I think that the tough part about that is the fact that they said that we were able to, to travel through that radiation belt safely, which everyone's always said is impossible.
Yeah, the Van Allen belt. Yeah,
Van Allen belt. And the fact that they go, well, why don't we go to the moon again? Well, we lost that. We don't have that technology anymore. Would you write it on a fucking napkin and throw it away? Like,
yeah,
we re-recorded over the VHS
the most the most historic moment in human
ever.
But whether you believe that Neil Armstrong, whether he walked on the moon, whether that was on a soundstage or not, we've been to the moon. We have landed. There are things that the rovers are still there that you can see with satellites. We have the reflectors. The flag is there. So eventually, at one point, we were on the moon. Whether Neil Armstrong did it, I believe he did. I'll understand if you have your points against whether he did it.
I think we've been on the moon. The part I think that leaves questions out there are the Van Allen belt and the technology that they said that they lost and the other tapes that they recorded over. One of those things, okay, I get it. Two of those things, it gets a little fishy. You start getting more and more coincidences and oopsies here and there, a string of them. You have a string of oopsies, that's a cover-up. That's not a bunch of oopsies. That's not a up. You know what, dude? We freaking had the technology all in file cabinets and that freaking section burned down, or they didn't know what it was and they freaking moved the documents. We don't know what the hell happened to them because it's the government.
That we didn't tape over anything. We have all of that. I 100% believe it. The Russians had it first because they were doing the relay from around the world, from station to station. And we were actually just filming a TV monitor as well. We weren't even watching it live. The cameras were pointed at a TV monitor in like Russia or wherever, because they were the first to get it. And then some of the things like where Neil Armstrong had said, I can see them watching us.
Yeah.
Or the one guy, I don't know who it was, that was still orbiting overhead, that had to land, and where he said, hey, we got some company up here, with us. Yeah. And then it's like, who, like what?
I think those tapes have more on them than they're just saying that they recorded over. I think they got some shit up there that, I still am amazed at some of the things about the moon, which is still for crazy for you. Look up there, you're like, oh, it's just the moon, that there's so much mystery behind it, especially when they freaking crashed the one module and it rang like a bell for an hour. How hollow it is.
So yeah, we didn't lose anything. We're just, because if they released it, they'd have to edit it out. And with today's technology, like the Epstein, hey, where's that missing 2 minutes? Like that was a weird cut right there. Like why is there 2 minutes of the moon footage missing?
Yeah, no, but and that's my point, is there's all this incredible information out there, and it's just not. I mean, hell, they'll show freaking C-SPAN of someone, and they'll freaking show what's his face, the freaking We Are Spartacus guy, the politician, the black, the bald-headed guy.
Jeffries.
Yeah, is it Jeffries?
Hakeem Jeffries?
No, not Hakeem Jeffries. The other guy, Cory Booker.
Booker.
Like they'll show him, freaking talking for hours and talk about how he freaking, filibustered this and filibustered that. And I'm like, you guys didn't show the freaking pilots during the whole freaking hearing about the freaking spacecrafts. Yeah. That interests me more than watching that guy filibuster for freaking 18 hours or freaking Ted Cruz filibustering. I don't give a shit about those two guys.
Yeah.
There's a pilot saying, oh yeah, Tic Tac just freaking came up freaking eye level and then just took off and was 100 miles away in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's a you're living in weird times when that stuff is like, we are on the cusp of the government just coming out going, listen, they're real. Yeah, they're real. We got them. We've been communicating with them. I don't know how detailed. I mean, there's always the the conversation that there's multiple species, but the four that you always hear about is you hear about the grays, you hear about the freaking the tall, kind of
I think they
pale,
call them tall grays, don't they?
tall, yeah, but they're pale. They're more pale
Yeah.
than anything else. You got
You have the lizard people.
the lizard people, mantis people. There's mantis people.
Yeah,
And
mantis
then, and then you have the human-like people that are a little bit more like silvery skin, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. And it's like those are the five species you always hear about, and it's just not even being discussed. That's just I would never have guessed that in a million years. That young Kerry Horney that you saw on that basketball picture, I said, well, if you would have told him that night, I would have been like, "You're full of shit, dude."
Yeah.
Aliens being around, that's going to be on every night, every station.
Yeah, and it's I think they say people will freak out. I think it gives people hope. For a better future. Some people will be like, "Oh my God, they're going to take over," and it's they're going to wipe us out like cockroaches. But for me, it's like, oh man, God, they're going to fucking help us fix this mess we're in.
Yeah.
The solution for the fossil fuels and everything else.
Just come down here and say, listen, stop being idiots, or we're just going to ray gun everybody. Everybody just go support your local cigar shop, and we'll leave you guys be. And then I'll be like, all right, there you go.
That's it. And I've been reading a lot lately on the population crash of around China. Their whole thing for the 20 years. You can only have 2 kids or whatever, 1 kid, whatever it was. Yeah, that's come back to fucking bite them in the ass. Their population is crashing. Japan won't even be. There won't be Japanese people in 4 generations. Like they're gone. Unless they figure it out. U.S. is the lowest population birth rate in history.
I was talking about that the other day with my stepmom. Like, she was talking about a friend of hers, and she's like, she comes from a family of 9. You don't hear that anymore. It's like
no
family. The family of 3 or 4, maybe, if you're lucky. Because if you have 1 or 2 kids, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. I'm like, do you realize like my dad was like 1 of 7, and we used to have a family came into our church, they'd take up a whole pew. There's like 14 of them. At some point it's just you're herding cats at that point.
My next door neighbor, my best friend Tommy, he's one of 7 kids. We lived next door to him forever, and people like, I don't know what they, and his parents didn't make a lot of money at all. They were both, just blue collar workers, and they went without, like things like material possessions, but the kids always had clothes, they always had food. There's always enough food for the rest of us neighborhood kids that we'd come over, and they did okay.
Yeah, depends on your family's situation or how many siblings you had. You really appreciated and understood the value of leftovers.
Yeah.
Because I'm to this day, you can ask Jennifer. I am like, we have leftovers. Jennifer, like, what do you want me to make? I'm like, we got plenty of leftovers. Like, what needs to be eaten first? Just because growing up, that's what we did. It was like my mom would make a big pot of spaghetti, and that would last us the week. Or she'd make stuffed peppers that would last us the week.
A big lasagna was at least 2 meals. It was a chili mac. Was always a couple of days.
That last you, man. It wasn't like mom wasn't cooking new shit every night.
Yeah, it irritates me. Jessica will. I'll come home like, oh hey, where's the whatever from last night? She's like, I gave it to them dog. Fuck them dogs. They got dry food. They got whatever. That was my food. Give them my fucking food.
That could be tomorrow's lunch and tomorrow's dinner and the next day lunch, or I'll alternate it and just eat them for lunches. I mean, shit.
That's it. Should we finish up with dinner? There'll be a little left, and I'll take my fork, and I'm like, dogs aren't getting this. It's too good. I'm eating it.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah. It's I'm firm believer, and we rotate our leftovers, and then like Jen will make a big thing of chili, And it may come to the very end where I'm like, okay, I'm chillied out.
Yeah. And there's still like one more night left. And you're like,
there's one more meal, and it's like, yeah, I was eating the chili. I'm like, nah, the fucking animals can have it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's it. Because I don't know how to make chili for 2 people for 2 days. I only know how to make chili for
an army.
2 people. Well, I know how to make chili for 2 people for 1 day, and then 1 person for 4 more days.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like, I think I'm good now. But I love leftovers. I do, man. Sometimes food tastes better leftover.
I do. I'm a big leftover fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Jessica, not so much. I mean, she'll eat a leftover if we have it. Usually she'll do it for lunch. She's not a leftover for dinner type of person.
I think I've rubbed off on Jennifer over the years. I think so. I think I've rubbed off on you with your acceptance of leftovers. Not 100%, because she does like cooking fresh, and that's when Jennifer loves cooking. So anybody says I'm too busy to cook and I can't cook a meal at night, and it takes too long. So I'm like, listen, I've seen the master at work, and Jennifer will come home from work, put down her bags, she'll still be in her scrubs, and she'll freaking crank out a freaking ridiculous meal in 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not
like
it's
a
not hard.
real meal.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about I'm coming home, I'm gonna pop a freaking frozen lasagna in a freaking oven or a freaking frozen pizza. She'll come home, start bashing out the freaking chicken. She'll freaking dredge it, put it in the freaking thing. She'll make some freaking chicken parm, boil up some noodles, and freaking make homemade spaghetti. Or she'll freaking, you made baked potatoes and freaking steaks and a vegetable. I mean, it's a full real deal Holyfield meal, and can do it within under an hour.
Yeah, Jessica's my favorite meal that she's been making for the last like 6 months is we do. I like buying fresh. I really got to get her the attachment for her mixer to make fresh pasta, because we buy fresh pasta from Publix, and it's so good. And she makes like this sauce, which, I mean, she smashes the tomato, like she gets like the little cherry tomatoes, crushes them, some olive oil, some garlic, some whatever spices. And she literally just makes her own sauce. Yeah. And throws in the fresh pasta, so she doesn't have to really boil it. Throw it in there, mix it all up, like 20 minutes, and have this fantastic pasta dish that is unbelievable, that you'd probably pay $30 a dish for, at a restaurant. But we're into it for a couple of bucks, and it takes like no time. It's super, super simple. And God, Gabby eats it almost every night. Gabby learned, Jessica made her a little recipe, and Gabby does it herself now, literally, and she's, a girl with autism, can make this amazing dish all the time.
Yeah. Jen makes this Mediterranean meal. It's like you said, I mean, it's really, it doesn't take the time. I mean, it really doesn't. And I found a solution. And one thing Jennifer and I have battled with over the years is that, and you and I talked about it, is clean up as you go along when you're cooking.
Yes.
And Jennifer doesn't. And I do. And it would bother me. So what I did was, I said, okay, I can spend my time talking and bitching about it, or I can be part of the solution. So while Jennifer's cooking, I'll go up and I'll clean. So I'm contributing, even if it's a quick cleanup. It just, even something as simple as wiping down the stove, just making sure the pots are rinsed out, make sure this is that, and at that point, while she's cooking the meal and getting things ready, I am satisfying that OCD in me and making sure things are cleaned up as we go along. And at the end, I think it works out well.
Yeah, when I'm, and I learned that in the restaurant business, cooking is you clean as you go along. Like if I'm making a big meal, when I, if it's just for me, when I plate up my serving and put it off to the side, there's nothing left. Maybe a pan or a pot on the stove that cannot go in the dishwasher. But as I'm preparing, I'm cleaning, rinsing, putting it in the dishwasher, and getting everything go. So when I finish my meal, I put my plate in the dishwasher, and I may have like a single pan or a single pot, That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I have left over. Because I don't want to clean. Jessica, not so much. She'll have a pretty full sink sometimes till the next morning.
And we've done that sometimes, and I get it. Sometimes, like after cooking, it's been a long day. You're just like, fuck it, I'll just get the dishes tomorrow or whatever, and it's just not a big deal. But I've also found, like, you can either continue complaining about it and trying to change the situation, or you can get to being part of the solution and contributing, because at that point, then you're working together as a team.
Yeah, and I'm really good. And I had to be in the restaurant business. Jessica, not so much, as is timing of everything. Because I've seen her cook, and like she'll be putting something in, and I'm like, hey, that's gonna be done in like 15 minutes. Like the rest of that dish is like 40 minutes. Like, why are we starting that now? And I can't say that. I'll just be looking. I'm like, god damn it. Now now I got to eat cold fucking potato or overcooked this. With the rest of this dish, because it's going to be done 30 minutes earlier than the rest of the dish. And
that's when you got to approach it in a manner of going, oh, are we having that for hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, no, you don't approach Kerr.
No, I mean, but innocently. And then they go, what do you mean? What do you mean by hors d'oeuvres? Yeah. Oh, because that's going to be done in like 15 minutes, and the rest is going to be done in 40 minutes. I thought we were going to eat this first. Okay, no problem. You're cooking. No. I just was asking a question about hors d'oeuvres. Now, I'm sure Jessica's on to you, and I realize that your delivery would not be one of surprise. It would be.
Yeah.
The fuck you mean, Kev?
Yeah, I know. But that was just like, but I a lot of times I take it for granted that I cooked professionally. So I know that, you have to keep a mental tab of when everything is going in to where everything's done at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, Jen's timing is really good with her meals. I think about it's been few and far in between that things are done prior. Like there's times when she'll make baked potatoes, she'll put it in the microwave and do it that way. And I'm so fucking hungry. I'm like, listen, I'll eat it without the baked potato. I want to eat now. I can't wait for that thing. And then I always kind of like go, no, I don't want a baked potato. But then when Jen makes hers and it's all done up, then I'll take a bite of it. I'll be like, son of a bitch, I should have got a baked potato because this is freaking good.
That's probably my biggest accomplishment, getting Jessica on baked potatoes. If you cook a baked potato for 2 hours, it's still going to come out great. You cook it for 40 minutes, it sucks. There used to be many a time I was eating a raw potato, and you put that in the microwave, we're eating. I'm not putting that back in the microwave for 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then not finishing this, I'll just eat a raw potato. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, hey, just cook it for 2 fucking hours. It's going to be light and fluffy on the inside. And I like a crispy fucking outside.
Yeah. There's something to doing baked potatoes the old fashioned way, but they make them now. And even but I love baked sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I love it. If you pop it in the microwave and you do whatever you got to do. I also like I used to like butternut squash, and then you put it up. Yeah. You brush it with some olive oil, something, put it in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour, and just scrape it. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, I've never had a baked potato in a microwave. That's blasphemy. That's
really
blasphemy.
No, it's nah. I gotta tell you, it's not bad.
You can't get that crispy. Yeah, see, I coat mine in oil, and I coat it in salt and like crushed red pepper.
Yeah,
and then do have it like really seasoned, and because I like being able to scoop out the inside of the potato, have a half a shell, and then put some of my meal in there, and then like eat it like a taco.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's not happening with ours, and her baked potatoes in the microwave are pretty good, and I'm going to ignore that delicious potato that you just described because I have a feeling that if I asked her to make one like that, I would probably get a baked potato in the microwave thrown at my head, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've growing up as a kid, my mom would make baked potatoes, and it was always like my dad and my brother would eat the baked potatoes. My sister hated them. She only liked mashed. And I was not a big fan either, but when you start living on your own and you realize that, there's food that's affordable, thank you. And some of them, it's like you'll eat anything, and then just like you'll learn quick. Like I didn't eat tomatoes growing up. Did not like tomatoes at all on my sandwiches. And then as I started, I was in college and stuff. I'm like, well, those are more toppings. That means more food. It means like, okay, throw some tomatoes on there. I think I'll tough it down. Same with baked potatoes too.
Yeah, I love a good loaded baked potato. I love a good twice. We haven't made twice baked potatoes in a long time. We gotta do some of those. Love a good sour cream and chive twice baked potato. It's just so
I miss
good.
The baked potato bar at freaking Wendy's.
Yes, the baked potato bar. Oh my god, that was so good.
The baked potato bar. I remember that. I'll take a baked.
And why? And why the fuck? Yeah, and why the fuck can't I buy sour cream like Wendy's used to give you in individual servings? Like I want a little tiny pack of sour cream that stays fresh. Instead of having the jar of sour cream, then you go to open it up and you got all the liquid on top. So you got to like stir it all around or dump it out. Then you're always looking at the expiration date. You're like, oh, this is getting close. And you're like smelling it. Give me that little packet of Wendy's sour cream, and then, so.
You got to be able to buy it somewhere because you could buy individual packets of hummus. You could buy, guacamole. You could buy individual packets of anything now.
Yeah, just can't find like little individual packets of sour cream.
I know what you mean about that freaking, you open it up, that freaking container of sour cream, and there's that freaking puddle of freaking yellow water. Just like, fuck. Is this still good? Yeah, it's still good. Are you sure? Well, here, you just got to mix it up, and they have to mix it up. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You're always sketch whether you want to eat it or not.
I don't know, man. I think I'll just eat. I think I'll stick to rice.
I know. I called. We were supposed to have tacos last night. Then Jess made pizza. We were supposed to have them tonight, and then just ran late. But when I called her from the store the other night because I'm buying stuff for tacos, do we have sour cream? So yeah, we got it. Do we? Can you check? I know we have a jar. I don't want that jar, open that up tomorrow night and like, of course we had it. But,
it's the same thing with freaking guacamole, man. That's why I like individual guac because you open up the container of guacamole, that beautiful green. It's the same. It's like having a beautiful green candela cigar and letting it sit in the sunlight for a fucking day.
It's rare. I mean,
gross and brown. Oh.
Every now and then, like. Every 6 months, I'll buy a container because Jessica likes. There's a Publix brand that she really likes there because they have like a spicy guac, but we just make our own. It's just easy. When I met Jessica, I had never had guacamole in my life. I'd never eaten it. It's not that I didn't like it. I was just, I just didn't eat guacamole. I just never thought about eating it. It just never appealed to me. So she had said she liked guacamole. So I looked up a couple of recipes online. So I made some like Mexican food and made her some guacamole. And she's like, and she didn't know I didn't eat it. She goes, "This is the best guacamole I've ever had in my entire life." Like how did you learn how to make it? I'm like, I just learned a couple hours ago. I just like a spicy guacamole though.
Yeah.
So we go to the Mexican restaurant, we always ask for spicy and they look at us, two white people, and they never make it. We even ask like, you make it extra spicy. They never do. It's never spicy enough.
Yep. Yeah. I'm like that with Thai food.
I just want to bring my own like habanero or Scotch bonnet next time. Like, hey, can you add this, while you're making the guac?
I'm like that with Thai food. Like we'll go and they'll be like, "Do you want it 1 through 10?" And then I know the routine. I go, "I want it Thai hot." They're like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do. I want it Thai hot." Are you sure? Yeah. Do you know what that means? Like they go, "Only Thai people like Thai hot." I'm like, no. Large man wants Thai, and Jen got some the other night. I got a Thai hot. And it's perfect.
Yeah, there's a new Thai place. I've never had Thai food, so I want to take Jessica up there because she likes Thai. I've never had it, so I'd like to go up and try it. And I like spicy, not overly spicy, but I do know that I've got friends that are Mexicans, and when they say something's hot, like, hey, this is spicy, I fucking back off on whatever dip or little sauce because man, the Mexicans they like their spice, and when they warn you about it, you better fucking listen. Kind of like that landman, when the Cooper was there eating, is like, oh, this is hot, and it's like, oh, I've been there, at the at that authentic Mexican places or at someone's house, and they're like, hey, this is spicy. Okay, I'm gonna listen to you. Like, which one is?
Which sauce is the hottest? This is this.
Which is the white person hot sauce? Because that's the one I want. So
when you get the look, you're like, I don't know, it's hot, and I was always like, no, come on, dude, come on.
Timmy, he did a 0 tonight with his pad thai.
It's pad thai though. Pad thai is great, but I like the sweet basil chicken. That's really, really good. But I can tell you, man, some of the Thai's food that we've gotten, and when I get the Thai hot, it's
I don't
perfect.
So is there like a so Mexican food, is a lot of rice, beans, tortillas. Italian food is pasta, generally. Like what is I've never really looked up like Thai food. Is there like a
the interesting thing about Thai food is, and this is from my experience with it, is where the location is in the region, you actually get like this, you still get that Chinese influence and the Asian food influence with the
so it's like
but they also get influence from India. So they do have curry dishes as well. So you get a really cool combination. And they use a lot of, the pad Thai noodles are all rice noodles. Really, really.
So are they like so long like ramen style noodles, or
depends? Some of them are flat noodles. A lot of them are flat noodles. They almost look like a linguine noodle, but like on a diet. They're very thin noodles. Or some of the Thai noodles that I get with the basil are really flat and very wide noodles, bigger noodles. But one of the cool things is, I've been to a couple of different restaurants. Like I went to a Himalayan restaurant. There's, whatever the frick it was back in DC. And it's just because of their influence from around the area, especially when you get that curry influence, from that western part of Asia around India is pretty cool. It's the peppers, the different types of cabbages that are in there. You get the different types of rices. You got basmati rice, the jasmine rices, the longer grain rices are really, really make things taste a lot different. I love, Jen, I got her hooked on basmati rice and jasmine rice. Jasmine has a little bit more aromatics and flavor to it, but basmati rice is a longer grain rice, and it's actually.
Thank you. But what? I was saying thank you.
Oh.
Ikmal. I've been really digging some jasmine rice lately, as well.
But basmati rice, like I said, it's a longer grain rice. When you eat it, the texture is different. It has a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more flavor than just the regular old starchy white rice. But those areas, those different cuisines, depending on where they're located, they can have a heavy influence from different parts of the world. Like I've had some of the best curry dishes at a Thai restaurant.
Okay.
And when you hear curry, you think of Indian food right away, which I am a huge fan of Indian food. I am,
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the Thai dishes I've had that that introduce curries. Oh, some fantastic stuff.
All right. So yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I'm definitely gonna have to look up this restaurant and find out, like what's on the menu, then have to Google like what some of the stuff is, so.
And I think some of the times you even see it too with like Chinese food. Yeah. It also depends on where in China. They definitely have influences in different spices and different things different dishes that they're known for. It's like, oh, this is the Southwest province of China. This is why you're going to have more of this, influence and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, it's the Thai dishes really have that unique of where it can really go into a Chinese type food, but then you can have some of the dishes really lean more into that curry Indian cuisine.
Okay, I always thought it was more similar to Chinese from what people had talked about. So that's what I was.
Yeah.
Then you talk about the noodles thing. So I'm like, all right, so I'll have to look it up and expand my horizon, because you, Jen, and Jessica had always talked about Thai food. So I'm like, we definitely gotta try that. But I like going to my favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
I like my barbecue place. I like my wings and
yeah.
rings.
I just Googled it real quick, and it just said that it's the different diverse dishes are influenced by Chinese and Chinese immigrants with the stir frying and the noodles, Indian traders which bring in the curries and the spices, and Portuguese missionaries that bring in the chilies and the egg-based desserts. So it's pretty interesting. They have a very wide variety of influences that include China, Portugal, and India. It pretty amazing, but yeah, it's like I said, I've had some of the best curry dishes I've had were Thai food, not Indian.
Yeah, it was. I know when Jessica's family came down from Jersey, and we took them to our favorite Irish restaurant. Her sister got the curry, and she said, like, this is some of the best curry I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, yeah, the Irish love their fucking curry. I mean, I've never tried it up there because I always get the same couple of Irish dishes. But yeah, it's they're known. They have their curry of either the curry of the day or curry of the week, and they make great homemade curry.
That's the Indians' influence from the UK. Curry's big in the UK because the UK owned India, and that was their heavy influence. And one of the things that was made for me that was in English, they made it in England, is you may think this is weird, but you take a baked potato and you take grilled chicken, you chop it up, and you make chicken salad out of it, right? And you add curry, and then you stuff the baked potato with that, so you get the cold and the hot together with that chicken salad curry.
Yeah,
fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I used to follow a channel on and I just got banned again from TikTok the other day. It was like 6 accounts got banned. I was smoking a cigar, I think, in one of my videos, and I've just given up on that platform. But I used to follow. It was a UK baked potato truck, and people would come from 100 miles away, or whatever, and it was all the different things, and it was a lot of beans on potatoes, but and watching all the different ways that the UK likes their baked potatoes.
I've had a few chicken salads that were made, that curry was introduced, and chicken salad sandwiches with curry, and it is fantastic. But I've had someone stuff a baked potato for me one time, and it was like I think I was hooked on that for a year. I made it a lot. Yeah,
we have a place over here. It's called Chicken Salad Chick.
Yeah, we have that here too. Yeah, they stopped making egg salad.
Oh, did they? And,
Jennifer loved their egg salad. They stopped making egg salad.
Yeah, I love a good egg salad. Their chicken salad sucked. Even Jessica didn't like it. She's like, this sucks.
She makes, depends on what it is. They have a lot of options, I've had better chicken salads at other restaurants versus.
And it was expensive. Yeah, and it was expensive. For these little tubs of the chicken salad they make, and I'm like, this is, because it's chicken salad. It's chicken mayo. Some spices. Maybe Jessica likes hers with like either the grapes or the cranberries, the celery. She likes that. I don't like a crunchy egg salad, tuna salad, or chicken salad.
I've had chicken salad. It depends on the spring chicken salad. Where I've eaten it with the different apples and stuff. But you know what, man? It's like putting freaking raisins in your potato salad. It's just, that has no place being in chicken salad.
Yeah. If you put raisins in your chicken salad, you're a flat earther.
Yeah. I've had it before. It was like, okay, I've eaten it. Even I go, what the hell is that? Oh, it's our spring chicken salad. It's got some apples in it. I'm like, just give me the freaking regular chicken salad. Like you said, I like chicken salad. All you got to do is be like, okay, here's my regular chicken salad. I'm going to make buffalo chicken salad, put in buffalo sauce. I'm going to make barbecue, put in some barbecue sauce. I'm going to make some garlic, put in some garlic. The deviation is not great when you want to provide a multitude of chicken salads. It's just the spices that you put into it is all you really have to do. And if you fuck that up, maybe you shouldn't call yourself chicken salad chick.
Yeah, exactly. And it's rare. I rarely ever eat chicken salad. Maybe once a year. I'm a tuna or egg salad guy. It's
I like a good tuna salad. Really good. I like tuna salad.
A good tuna. Don't make me some tuna salad where you scoop it off and you got to press it against the side of the bowl to drain all the liquid off. If you don't, it's nasty.
Tell you, some of the. I mean, for it being a chain outlet, Jersey Mike's chicken salads is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I get it done Mike's way, which is they'll put on some oil and vinegar. They put bacon, and then they put the crushed red pepper spread. Phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Jessica always gets that because we get Jersey Mike's every now and then, so she gets it Mike's way. And then,
Mike's way.
I don't like the oil and vinegar, So I like a honey mustard or a Dijon. Jessica can't stand mustard, so.
I like a good mustard. Yeah, we actually, it was funny the other night. We were looking through we decided to clean out the cabinet just because I was like, Jen, I'm seeing a pattern here. We keep buying shit and then we keep throwing out the shit that we bought because we've had it for so long. And so we were digging through there and we found this freaking peach honey mustard. And I opened it up and the texture was just not mustard, right? It was very thick molasses honey. And I tasted it and I was like, and Jen tasted it and we were both like, this needs to be a glaze. And she literally went right out and bought a ham because of it and glazed it. Kevin, holy crap. I could have probably just sat down and eat that. I probably should have taken some freaking water pills or something. I could have sat down and ate that whole ham myself. That was some of the best glaze I've ever had.
Do you like a horseradish sauce?
Love it.
So my buddy Gary Brooks, I had posted something about horseradish sauce like 6 months ago. So like 3 people sent me horseradish sauce. And I think it was Gary, maybe another guy, and had sent me some. One guy in that horseradish sucked. I didn't say anything to him, but that one, I think it was Gary that sent me. It's really spicy. You really gotta like portion it out. It is so. I was having it tonight with my chicken tenders.
Really?
I'm almost out, so I'm gonna buy a couple containers. I'm gonna send you. It's the best horseradish sauce, and I am a horseradish sauce connoisseur. I mean, I don't fuck around. I mean, this is the best I've ever had in my life, and it is amazing. So.
I love horseradish and any type of like Jennifer made this freaking roast beef the other day, and it was like last weekend for the football game, sliced real thin. We didn't have any horseradish, but we had this wasabi squeeze sauce, and it's horseradish sauce all over it. And just slapped green fucking color fluid, green coloring in it. But I love a good horseradish. I love that flavor. Like you said,
I love it. My grandmother used to, when we were kids, she would always send, and then even with me as an adult, my dad, she'd send 2 jars. She grew her own horseradish, crushed it herself, jarred it, and then sent it down. And every now and then, the majority of the time, I just ate it out of the jar, not even with a meal.
Right.
I would just open it up and take like a half a spoonful of it of fresh ground horseradish, and it just. You've never breathed in your life. Like you've never had your sinuses opened as much as you've had fresh ground horseradish, like everything, like you're smelling what your neighbors are doing.
Oh yeah.
It's just so good. I love fresh ground and I've never had it anywhere else. I'd love to visit Japan and get or visit anywhere. There's actually a farm here in the U.S. We watched a little documentary. They're starting to grow horseradish here, or not horseradish, real wasabi here in the States. But it only has like a couple of hours shelf life by the time you pick it, chop it, and and
real wasabi. Real
wasabi. It's literally like a couple of hours, 2 hours, an hour, and it's done. Like it's still hot, but it's not at its peak. In when so this one farm is near like a co-op or something. Chefs come in every morning. They pick it that morning. They put it, and the chefs use it. And I've always wanted to try real fresh wasabi.
Too, because what we get isn't real wasabi.
It's horseradish. It's just green. It's just green horseradish.
Yeah,
is all it is.
Yeah, that fresh horseradish. You see these guys that take big whiffs of the containers of smelling salts. You ever see that before they lift weights and all that shit? I'm like, dude, just take, like you said, take a spoonful of freshly freaking or jarred freaking real horseradish, fresh.
Yeah,
that'll wake you up.
It'll make you come alive. I know Joe Rogan, whenever he has Theo Vaughn on, like they have like the smelling salts, like they do, like they'll, and that's, and I know Alex from Smoke In, he's big into working out. So he does like the smelling salts as well. And they have the different smelling salts, the different intensities. And I smelled smelling salts back in high school. So I remember it being pungent, but I don't remember,
I just remember the smelling salts that they used to have at the funeral homes and the little freaking they're like a little glass pill that are plasticky pill that are wrapped in gauze. And if someone is feeling faint, you just pinched it broke, and you whip it under their nose. And me and my cousins, because we went through a little stint of having a bunch of family members dying, we'd be out back, freaking, smelling that shit. It's woo. Okay, there you go. You're awake.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, that's a big thing I've been seeing on the weightlifters. So doing that. But
I see it too. I'm kind of curious on maybe trying that. We ought to get some and try it on the show to see exactly if it is definitely something that, like, what's the benefit of it? Does it lock you in? Like, does it something you smell and it locks you into what you need to do, like lifting or what? Or I don't know.
And then is it addictive? Because you're seeing people like they're really they're hooked on it. So is it something like, like the nasal sprays? It's same with the horseradish. You eat it, it opens up everything, and then 20 minutes later, everything closes back down to normally, and you're like, I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. And it's like, well, no, everything is just back down to normal. Calm down, like so
Afrin. I remember that back in the day.
Afrin,
my brother was hooked on that. It was like,
was he?
Yeah, because you used it all the time, and then when you didn't use it, you had rebound congestion, which was twice as worse.
Yeah.
Oh. No, well.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna leave it on that note. It's
smelling salts.
Another great show. So we want to thank everybody for coming on and joining us for another Monday night. And I got some feelers out there. We got some people that want to be on the show. So we got the crew from HDA. They're going to be on in March, right before the PCA. Mm-hmm. So I know Lou from Lure Cigars. I think we're going to try and get him on here soon for a night.
I just had one of their cigars in the Wolfpack monthly club. Was good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried anything from Lure.
Good cigar.
I got to start getting. They're really promoting the PCA coming up, so I got to start getting reach out to them and get a list of people that we want to interview for the PCA. So I got to get in earlier this year with some of the big guys. Because that was the one, as much as we still want to do tons of the little guys, but there's a few of the bigger guys that I want to get. John Huber from Crown Heads. We're definitely going to interview him this year, and then hopefully we'll get Tom Lazuka on camera and talking about some stuff. So yeah,
that was fun.
All right. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see. We'll see everybody next.